The JoLynn Braley Show, Episode 16, Sugar Addiction. Can you change it? Hello and welcome. This is JoLynn Braley, the FAT Release Coach, and this is the JoLynn Braley Show. Join me on today's show as I go beyond the food to the real issue, your mindset. You see, mindset is 90% of the solution if you crave permanent success with your weight. If you would love to leave all of your food and weight struggles behind you, then you've got to get a weight loss mindset. What a weight loss mindset will do for you is that will enable you to leave your emotional eating behind, your binge eating, night eating, stuffing yourself, food obsessions. It will enable you to leave all of that behind, along with stopping that mental torture that you put yourself through, how you beat yourself up mentally and emotionally and criticize yourself for how you eat and for the state of your weight. It will, a weight loss mindset will enable you to stop living as a perfectionist with black and white thinking. It will help you release a diet mentality, which you certainly are caught up in if you are struggling with your weight. And in essence, what a weight loss mindset does is it replaces your current FAT mindset. What is FAT? FAT are your fear-attracting thoughts. So, when you have an FAT mindset, that mindset is a perfect match to overeating and overweight and overwhelm. It's a perfect match to living in an overweight, bad feeling body. When instead you get a weight loss mindset, then that makes the 10% diet and exercise super easy to do. Okay, so today's topic of the show is sugar addiction. Can you change it? So we're going to look at several things that have to do with sugar addiction. And before we do that, just a little bit about me, myself, if this is the first episode of the JoLynn Braley Show that you've ever heard. What I do is I help exceptional women and a few cool men achieve permanent weight loss by getting a weight loss mindset, and they do this in my proprietary, proven, step-by-step system, the Inner Self Diet. I walk them through all of the steps of the Inner Self Diet. I have a 100% success rate, which means that every person that I've worked with who has taken action with the Inner Self Diet, they have gotten the results of struggle-free weight loss, permanent weight loss. Kathleen is just one great example, and she recently gave me a follow-up. It was at the beginning of the year, and she graduated the Inner Self Diet over a year ago, and she's still living struggle-free with her weight. She's still using her Inner Self tools, which are part of the Inner Self Diet, because you have to know how to maintain your mindset once you get a weight loss mindset, because as long as you maintain your mindset, then it's easy for you to maintain your weight. So Kathleen let me know that she's still doing fabulous, and she is, it's more about the fact that she's living her life and feeling good and happy. And also, yes, of course, she had the struggle-free weight loss also. And it's just really good. It's all wonderful once you take care of what is 90% of the problem. And Kathleen is just one example. So on today's show, let's look at this topic of sugar addiction, and the question is, can you change it? So, first question, what exactly is sugar addiction? Well, sugar addiction manifests itself in compulsive overeating, obsessive thinking, the inability to stop eating, and it gives you that question of why can't I stop eating? These are just some symptoms of sugar addiction, but really what is going on is it's a much bigger and deeper problem. Some people will tell you that sugar addiction is strictly physical and physiological. However, we cannot get away from the fact that the mind leads the body, always. The mind is what is in control of your body. Now, does that mean that it's recommended to go tell yourself that, let's use an extreme example. Let's say that you were to tell yourself you could fly, and if the mind leads the body, then you should be able to do it, and so you should go jump off of a building. No, that doesn't make sense, does it? And just like it would not make sense for you to eat sugar if it really is a problem for you. But here's where the real problem lies. If you truly do honestly have a sugar addiction, and it's not just a pattern of bad habits, then why don't you just stop eating the sugar? Because if it really is physical, it only takes 3 days of staying off of the sugar for that to get out of your system. 3 days, that's it. So why aren't you doing that? If that really is the problem. And I'll share with you why you're not doing it. It's because of your mindset. The fact is that if you were to already have a weight loss mindset, it would be very easy for you to get off the sugar if that really is the problem. And the reason that I keep stressing if that really is the problem is that for most, that's not the real problem. So what the real problem is we need to look at what is the real addiction. And here's what the real addiction is. The real addiction, and this is something that all of my permanent weight loss clients understand, and it's something that you must be willing to admit. And also there is also the fact that words don't teach, only life experience teaches. So my permanent weight loss clients get it because they've gone through it, and you might also get it when you hear it. And if you don't, then that's okay too. And depending on where your mindset is right now, you can only hear what you can hear. That's something else that is just simply true. So here's what the real addiction is. The real addiction is an addiction to feeling bad. Bottom line, 100%, numero uno, the real addiction for all human beings is the addiction to feeling bad. It is the addiction to beating yourself up, to putting yourself down, to believing that you're not worthy, to believing that you don't deserve to have a fit and healthy body, which means that you're not living a fit and healthy lifestyle that would give you that body. It is an addiction to believing that you're less than and that you're not enough, or that there's something wrong with you. And all of these are fueled by limiting beliefs and a foundation of a mindset that is FAT. Number one, I completely guarantee it, that is what the real addiction is. It is an addiction to feeling bad. So what can you do then to change your sugar addiction when really the addiction is to feeling bad? And here's how you know, here's how, before we go on to how you can change your sugar addiction, here's how you know that the real addiction is that you're addicted to feeling bad. Think back to a time in your life when you felt on top of the world, you felt 100% confident, unstoppable, fabulous about yourself, and you were just bipping along. Everything was working for you because you were in that state, and everything was easy for you. Now, look at that time in your life. You might have even felt like you were in love with life at that time. How bad was it for you to, or not the word, I don't want to use the word bad. At that time in your life, was food really a big problem for you? And I bet you'll find that it wasn't. Food was not your focus. It wasn't a big deal. Yes, of course, you were eating because you have a human body, but there wasn't any of this thought of sugar addiction or emotional eating or looking to food to make you feel better because you already felt good. And that is one way that you can know for sure that what your real addiction is an addiction to feeling bad. So, what can you do to change your sugar addiction, which is actually an addiction to feeling bad? What you can do is get a weight loss mindset. That's it. You see, your mindset is 90% of your problem. How you eat and exercise is only 10%. Living a healthy lifestyle, eating healthy, working out regularly, doing all the things that come with a healthy lifestyle, that's easy once you have the mindset for it. However, when your mindset is FAT, filled with fear-attracting thoughts, living a fit and healthy lifestyle feels like slogging through mud. Everything feels hard. In fact, everything in your life feels hard. And I know this because I've been there. And all of my clients that I've worked with who have graduated the Inner Self Diet, they've been there too. What's exciting is that you don't have to stay there. And once you get the weight loss mindset that is necessary so that you can release those addictions, then if you don't want to eat sugar, then it's very easy to stop eating sugar and it's not a big deal any longer. Or what most of my clients, how they live is they live like naturally slender people do, because that's one of the things that I mentor them to. I teach them how to do that, and it has to do with how you do things in your brain and how you process your decisions. And it's actually a specific action, a process that naturally slender people already do in their own heads. And that's just one small part of the Inner Self Diet. But the point is that this means that they learn when it's appropriate, if they're going to have sugar. Here's a really good example. One of my clients was out on a sailing vessel for 2 weeks, and she was off the coast of Alaska. And she knew how to pick her food choices to live like a naturally slender person, which is a process. It's not something that we need to have two-way communication in real time in order for me to teach that to a person, because it does have to do with how you do things in your own head specifically. So she was out there on this sailing vessel and she was making her food choices, and she found that living in this way that is just the same way that naturally slender people make their food choices, at that particular time, her best option for her body was a Hershey's candy bar. Now, when she's home and just living her life in her wonderful career and being the fantastic lady that she is, she doesn't eat Hershey's candy bars every day. But in that context and in that situation where all of the people on that sailing vessel were exerting an extreme amount of physical energy, that was what her mind and her brain and her heart and her belly told her was the best thing for her to eat at that time, and it was. So if you compartmentalize yourself into this thought of a sugar addiction, and you don't understand the full picture of different situations, different scenarios, and different contexts in life, then oftentimes by labeling yourself as a sugar addict, you're just setting yourself up for more bad feelings, because then you beat yourself up if you have the cookie, and instead of just eating one cookie, then you eat the whole box. And then that just leads you down into that pit of more eating and feeling worse. And it's just not any fun, and it also is not helping you to get the body that you want. Those are all behaviors and actions and patterns of an FAT mindset. That's, again, I know I've said this a few times, but I'm just stressing it for you that your mindset is 90% of the problem. And the reason that I stress this is because it's not what you hear from the diet industry. What you have been told for your whole life is that what you need to do is find another diet that is a mainstream diet that will teach you how to eat different and exercise, and that if you do that, then you'll get the body you want. Is that true? Well, if it is a healthy eating plan and a productive exercise plan, then yes, that can help you get that result. But what good does it do to know about those things if you don't do them? If you're like my exceptional, wonderful, inspiring, permanent weight loss coaching clients, you already know how to lose weight. You know that it needs to be a healthy lifestyle, but you're not doing those things. And that's because of your mindset. That's a mindset problem when you know how to do something, but you're not doing it. That's an inner block. And those blocks are very difficult to get to on your own. And how do you know that they're difficult to get to on your own? Well, if you could have gotten to it already on your own without any coaching, without any professional mentorship, then wouldn't you have already done it? I bet you would have. Why not, right? Because then it would make your life easier. So let's take a quick commercial break here, and then we're going to do some shout outs, and then I'm going to give you some questions that you can ask yourself, so get your pen and paper ready. So today's sponsor of the JoLynn Braley Show is 31 Days of Loving Yourself Thin.com, or you can go to loveyouthin.com. And when you go to either loveyouthin.com or 31 Days of Loving Yourself Thin.com, you'll end up at the same place. And when you opt in to do 31 Days of Loving Yourself Thin, then what that will do for you is it will make weight loss easier for yourself. It will help you feel better about yourself, and it will help you release your built-up frustrations and all of those failures that have built up for you over time, all the times that you have lost weight and then regained it. It will help you make progress by taking very simple steps but very powerful steps each day for 31 days to love yourself thin. And it's a very good thing to do for yourself, especially if you're feeling really bad about being overweight. You're not going to ever lose weight and keep it off by continuing to beat yourself up and criticize yourself for being fat and overweight and feeling fed up and frustrated. Self-criticism won't get you there. It won't get you the body you want. If you learn to love yourself thin, then you can actually make weight loss easier for yourself. So do that at 31 Days of LovingYourselfThin.com. Okay, and shout outs today. The way that you get a shout out on the show is you simply go to the JoLynnBraleyShow.com and you click like to like our Facebook page. That's all you need to do. And each week I'm giving shout outs to all of the people who have liked the page since the last time, the last episode. And it's a lot of fun. And I don't remember if I stated this on on last week's show or not, but I'm letting you know now. And just go to, again, that's the JoLynnBraleyShow.com. Click like to like the Facebook page, and I'll give you a shout out. And this week's shout outs go out to Monique. So Monique, thanks so much for being a part of the Facebook page. And you'll be getting more updates on the show and also any other inspiring updates that will help you out to learn more about a weight loss mindset and also get closer to where you want to be. And today's questions to ask yourself on each episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, I give you questions that you can ask yourself. Sometimes it's just one question, sometimes I give you more than one. And I recommend that you write these down pen on paper, because then you'll get a much bigger change, a bigger result out of taking the time to ask yourself these questions. If all you do is listen to me, or if you type them on a keyboard, what you do is you miss out on the connection that occurs between your head, your heart, and your hand. So the first question to write down on your paper is, if you could end your sugar addiction by getting a weight loss mindset, then what exactly would stop you from taking action to get that weight loss mindset? If you could end your sugar addiction by getting a weight loss mindset, then what exactly would stop you from taking action to get that weight loss mindset? And write down your answers to that. And if you are like 99% of the folks on this planet, one of the answers that you'll get is you don't have the foggiest idea of how to get a weight loss mindset, which makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, because if you could have already done that, then you wouldn't be listening to me, right? You'd be out there living your life in your slender, fit, sexy, healthy body, and you wouldn't need to take the time to listen to the JoLynn Braley Show and learn more about a weight loss mindset. That makes a lot of sense that you don't know how to do that. And there are two ways that you can go about getting a weight loss mindset. One is to try to figure it out, piece it together, buy a bunch of books if there's anything out there that you can find, and see if somehow you can put a weight loss mindset together on your own. The problem with that is the amount of time it takes. I spent over 20 years trying to figure things out on my own, and it didn't get me anywhere. And the other problem with that, not just the time, but all of that time that you're spending trying to figure things out is time that you could have been living with a weight loss mindset if you'd taken the fastest path to it. And so the second option to getting a weight loss mindset is to take the fastest path to it. And what is the fastest path? You just do the same things that other people have already done before you, and they've gotten the results that you want. They've gotten the results of struggle-free permanent weight loss. They've gotten the results of ending their binge eating, ending their emotional eating, and ending their boredom eating. They've gotten the results of being able to eat a cookie without eating the whole box. They've gotten the results of feeling really, really, really good about themselves. And they've gotten the results of obviously losing weight, losing inches, losing sizes. One of my clients who I've worked with, his name is Dave, he dropped 90 pounds without struggle. Another one is Barb, and she released 50 pounds and 3 sizes without struggle. So if those are the kinds of results that you would like to have, then you just do the same thing that these people have already done. And those are all my inspiring clients. Those are some of my inspiring clients that I've worked with in the Inner Self Diet. And the way that you would take your first step towards struggle-free permanent weight loss so that you can have a body that matches your otherwise successful life, and I understand how frustrating that is to be so smart and so successful, and especially in your work life, to have it all together there, but still not be able to get this weight thing taken care of on your own. If you would love to have a body that matches your otherwise successful life, then the first step towards that is simply to apply for a complimentary weight loss discovery session. And you would do that by going to fearlessfatloss.com, and you will see on the menu bar it says Discovery Session, and you just click there, and that's where you start. So here's another question to ask yourself, to write down on your paper and ask yourself: what are all of the specific things that would transform for you in all of the 4 major life areas if you could end your sugar addiction? What are all of the specific things that would transform for you in all of the 4 major life areas if you could end your sugar addiction? And what you need to look at before you answer this question for yourself is, what would ending your sugar addiction do for you? How much more confident would you feel? How much better would you feel? How good would you feel in your slender body? Because if you were no longer overeating and stuffing yourself and obsessing about food and binge eating and emotional eating, and obviously all of this is driven, you're eating a lot of the sugar also. So if you weren't doing those things, how easy would it be for you to lose weight? How good would you feel about yourself? How would you feel if you could be done with this problem once and for all? If you actually had the mindset that would enable you to live healthy and fit without a fight. So, if you had all of those results for yourself, how easy would it be for you to do all of the things in your life that you're not doing right now? And here are the 4 major life areas to look at. One of them is fitness. That obviously has to do with your body. Another one is faith. That is your spiritual connection and how secure you feel in this universe we live in. Another of the major life areas, of the 4 major life areas, is family, and that deals with all relationships, all relationships. And then the 4th one is finances. So just imagine if you were feeling so wonderful about yourself and on top of the world, full self-confidence, full belief in yourself and in your abilities, feeling fantastic in your body, how easy would it be for you to believe in yourself and know your self-worth and your self-value so that you could ask for that raise, so that you could go for the new job promotion, so that you could start your own business, or so that you could take your business to the next level? How hard is it for you to do any of those things when you don't feel good about yourself and you don't have the confidence to do them? How easy would it be for you to have sex with the lights on if you're married, or if you're not? Lots of people have sex today when they're not married, and that's all up to you. But if you are feeling absolutely wonderful about yourself and about your body, what would that do for your sex life, which is a very big part of a healthy marriage? If you are feeling so good about you, had so much self-confidence, if you're not married and you want to be dating, how much fun would you have going out there and dating? And then what about your connection to source energy, your connection to God, whatever you would like to call it? How much more confidence would you have that life is always working out for you, that you belong, that you are enough, if you actually felt fantastic about yourself, you were so in control of your own mind and your own emotions, and you were able to live healthy and fit without any struggle, and the weight issue was the least of your problems. And then, of course, the area of fitness. Obviously, if you had a weight loss mindset, it would be a snap for you to live healthy and fit. And then what could possibly stop you from releasing all of the excess fat and just keeping it off? What would be the big deal, right? It wouldn't be any big deal. That is something that I often hear from my clients in the Inner Self Diet, my coaching clients, and the words are, it's just not a big deal any longer. And these are from people who are not yet at their goal weight. That is what is so important that most people do not understand, is that it is completely backwards to think that all of your happiness is going to come once you lose weight. You need to get the mindset in place in order to make it easy for yourself to get off the sugar, if that's what you want to do, and to stop the emotional eating, and to exercise regularly, and to release that fat. In order to make all of that easy, you need the mindset for it. And that means also that you need to be feeling good about yourself during all of that activity that I just described that is all part of living a healthy lifestyle. What most do is they force themselves to do things that they don't want to do. They force themselves to eat healthy when they're not in alignment with it. They don't want to do it, and then it can never last. And one of the universal laws that all of us live under is you cannot enjoy the journey, you cannot enjoy the outcome to a journey you despise. And that's how it is for most people who are on the weight loss journey. They can't stand what they're doing. They'd rather be eating the cookies and the candy because they still have an FAT mindset. If they had a weight loss mindset, the cookies and the candy would not bother them, and it would just be easy for them to lose weight and keep it off. Mindset is 90% of the game. Diet and exercise is only 10%. Okay, so be sure and go to the JoLynnBraleyShow.com and like our Facebook page, and then you'll get a shout out from me on an upcoming episode. Also, if you are subscribed in iTunes, go ahead and give the show a 5-star rating. Next week's episode, the topic will be, is permanent weight loss really possible? All right, well, thank you so much for being here on the show today. This is JoLynn Braley, the FAT Release Coach, and you've been listening to the JoLynn Braley Show. You can go to fearlessfatloss.com to learn more about a weight loss mindset, and also grab your free 5-day e-course while you're there. My free 5-day e-course will help you answer the question, is your mindset fit or FAT? And it will also help you discover what's really been stopping you from losing weight for good and what you can do about it. Once again, thank you so much for being on the show today. This is the JoLynn Braley Show, and you have been listening to me. I am JoLynn Braley, the FAT Release Coach. Here's to your best life in your ideal body.